you doing, folks? My name's Robert Hanson, and we're going to Robert Hanson's Live. And the person that will be helping is Roger Hanson, my brother. The conversation is about.
I have the topics that you wanted me to read out to for you if you want me to, whenever you're ready to do that. So, the topic is basically the hidden trackers in your car. That's what you posted for me to pull up the information about. I found information on how to disable a hidden car tracker and how a hidden car tracker depends on the type of device. Um, Common trackers include like PG in OBD2 devices, battery powered GPS bugs under the vehicle, aftermarket starter interrupt units, or the built in telematics control unit, the TCU, that reports driving data to the automaker. So, aftermarket GPS and dealership trackers are vehicles that if you have if your vehicle has an external aftermarket tracker installed by the dealership or the finance company, they tell you to check the OBD2 port. And to do that, you look under your steering column. So if a device is plugged in, you can simply pull it out to instantly disable it. They also say check under the dash. Dealerships often hardwire starter interrupt trackers under the dashboard or steering column. Disconnecting these require cutting the power, the red, and the ground, which is the black, and the antenna wires. They also give an important warning that if the vehicle has a starter interrupt, cutting the tracker unit will prevent the car from starting until you reconnect the original ignition wires. And they also say perform this in a safe, neutral location like a public parking lot, because removing the device will alert the lender. So if a starter or an investigator placed a actually no, that's the second part, but this is the GPS and the dealership trackers that you were talking about earlier. I guess we can stop there. They also, I found some information too about physical bugs and magnets and stuff too. So,
Okay, that's good. Okay, now my point of it is, what about the for tracking things from space? How does that tracker works with that as well? And for security measures, when your car gets stolen, do have they have a way of keeping that signal from getting discontinued?
well, that's the hardware starter interrupt track that they're talking about. That's the one that's underneath the dashboard. It's like if somebody steals your car, it'll
You
interrupt.
talking about
Yeah,
how GPS works?
yeah. The
So the
the
satellite
oh, go ahead.
uses something called a Josephson junction. Uh, Basically, it can pick up a small magnetic field, very tiny. It can go as small as something as mm, something up to the billionth of the force it would take to move a needle in a compass. That's how precise it can get. So when you have devices with certain kind of signals, I mean, you can track signals, you can track energy. So with this kind of setup, it So these devices use magnometers, which adjust their global positioning using the Earth's magnetic field to such precision that it's why it's used for GPS. And it's very scary if you actually get into the technology, because when you think about that sort of stuff, there's so many other things that can be applied to it as far as surveillance goes. So definitely something that people should look into. Satellites aren't just GPS tracking; they track all manner of things. Yeah, scary stuff.
Okay, but when they do that tracking, and if a person's smart enough, couldn't they figure out a way of discontinuing the 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 magnetic sound from it? If you have a greater want a sound that makes that, you can, like a power plant. If you got a building that you can stick that in, block it.
Well, the thing about it is it's like the most important part is to get this disconnected from your vehicle. The rest of it is kind of null and void if you can get it disconnected from it. And on what I just read to you, it says that once you connect that or disconnect that from underneath your dashboard or your steering column, make sure to go back in and um, re reconnect the original ignition wires, or the car won't start back up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
But you can't.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah. Well, so the thing is with these computer chips in these cars these days, you don't have to have a GPS. You don't have to have a low jack. Your car has a computer chip in it. That computer chip emanates its own magnetic fields and its own processing. Satellites can still read it. Unless you have like an old vehicle from the 80s, that don't have these sensors, that you're liable to be found by any government agency that wants to find you if you have a modern day car. Nobody knows this stuff. It's scary, I'm telling you. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Well, and they got this set up to where when you go, if something has happened to you directly, okay, and you run into your truck, your vehicle, to get into your vehicle, and you have a really bizarre face, expression on your face, okay, they're asking where the computer's not going to respond to let you start your vehicle up, because you're looking like you're a different person than what you usually look, because you've got fear in your face. And the person demonstrated that on the site, that of these new vehicles and all that the cars won't start if you got like a bulge in eyes and all that, and your blood pressure is up high. The guy stuck the key in the car, and the car wouldn't start. And
So you're talking about biotelemetry, reading telemetry.
your blood pressure, your face recognition, and all that, and everything about your blood pressure. If you're scared, it won't respond to it if it looks like you're different or your blood pressure is up
And that's
high.
also biometrics.
Yeah.
That's biometrics through biotelemetry. If it's being read by any outside sensor. But if it's just localized, you're talking about it being localized in the vehicle, then that's just biometrics.
Yeah, inside of the vehicle, and the car won't start. And what all different other processes, okay, now, like when you break down, okay, now, and you take the vehicle to the garage, okay, now, how are they going to work with this? Like, same company that you got the car from, when you take it there, okay, what are their processes? So do they got to, since they got to buy the vehicles from the plant, then to have it there, do they do the same thing with the parts as well too? And they got to get clearance or however, whatever the process is of the technology for the vehicles.
Well, all that will be kind of baked in. Just like, a locksmith will have master key to things. Same thing with dealerships. They're going to have a master key or something of some kind, mechanics, to get into these things. These things will be set up before it ever gets into our hands.
Okay. And when you buy that car, like if you put that car up for sale and the person that's buying it from you, what is the process of where it removes your face from the computer in it to theirs? Where they know who's who, verification on who's the person that's bought it and all the information, your driving record, your driving performance and all that to make sure that your information ain't in the vehicle that you're selling. Who removes it, or if they do remove it, to where the two don't get mixed up in the black box as well. The two works together, What is the how would they do that?
You mean like how are they going to push it on us?
Well, just not
What do you mean?
that, and how will they? Because when you got all that technology and everything about you're in that
Well,
car.
You're when I was checking this stuff out too, when you talk about stuff like that, you're talking about like more apps and everything than you are anything else. Like Ford Pass, they have Ford Pass now, and they have the Toyota app
Mm-hmm.
and things like
Mm-hmm.
this. And with
Correct.
with telematics, the TCUs on a lot of these newer vehicles, like B was talking about, they have built-in modems. You see what I mean? That
Mm-hmm.
they usually log and transmit locations and telematic data. Now,
Well, they're going to push. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
now in order
Go ahead.
after you disconnect the car from the manufacturer's motor app, you have to perform what they call a master reset in the vehicle's
Mm-hmm.
information system, and that revokes data sharing agreements and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like if what you're saying, Robert, about how do you change ownership and get that all cleared away, that's how you would go about doing it. You would actually want to go in
It,
there and do that.
it's no different than refurbishing a computer.
Yeah.
It's just wiping yourself off and selling a computer. It's no different.
Mm-hmm.
However, they're going to push all this stuff onto us, and it's going to be widely accepted because there'll be offers of lowered insurance rates, a legal, having more legal evidence in case accidents happens. Accident awareness sort of thing. It's going to if you're having issues with a certain way that you drive, they may offer driving defense classes and further lower your insurance rates, and they'll hook you into because they have to sell you. You're the product. You got to realize you're the product, and they have to manipulate you to get money out of you as much as humanly possible. So they're going to offer you things to where you are. It's going to seem like you're saving money by giving into the manning system. They're going to offer you discounts, but they're just going to come up with more things to offer you that you're going to be paying on. That's going to become standardized. And if you're going to be those people that are not going to be buying into that stuff, you're going to be paying out of the ass for, whatever you default on. And that's the tyranny of it, of business and the government. When they work together like that, you're going to be paying, just for example, fuel efficiency. You get carbon credits and stuff. You get a more fuel efficient car, or, instead of driving a 1970s slab, like Cadillac or a Lincoln or something, that's guzzling gas, your insurance premiums are going to be higher. You're going to be paying more money in gasoline, and they make it to where they're going to force you to a corner to where you're just going to accept the stuff.
Let me ask you a question now. You're talking about fuel, and that's a good question right there. Okay, if it shows, the computer shows, okay, you drive so many miles, and then if it starts looking like the car is going through a change, that's the way I can put it, where it's starting to use more fuel but less miles, where it takes more fuel to go the same amount of distance than before after you reach to a certain amount of miles that you put it through. Now, will that go to the car manufacturer, the car lot that you bought the car from, as well, to where it shows that the maintenance, okay, like to where the insurance and was it the secure, what you call it, warranty on it, to where they know all this stuff about the warranty and the condition of how you're driving the vehicle.
Well, let me also point something out too. Whenever I was talking about disengaging the tracking stuff, if you go about doing that, you might as well take that warranty and just throw it out the freaking door. Just get rid of it.
You mess with anything, your warranty's void.
It's gone.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying if you don't mess with anything, but you driving down the road and it seems like your car is after about 3 to 4 years starting to use a little bit too much fuel, and you didn't go and get a lot of maintenance done to your vehicle. All the information that what you haven't done or you have done, where does it go to where like it gives the information better to the car dealership of
I don't necessarily think that. So what I'm thinking is just like what Roger said. There's going to be apps, and these apps might tell you. Okay. The lady I'm staying with, she has a hybrid RAV4, and it tells her, it has a little counter in the dashboard that tells her what her fuel efficiency is. And she was complaining about it being 35 miles to the gallon. She said it should be getting 42. That's what it was when she bought it. It was 42.5 or something like that. And she's like, oh, I think I need to take this in. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's how they get you. That's how they get you. So there's going to be apps, just like Roger said, and they might give you suggestions. You should take your shop in for to be looked at, and then they're going to be looking at your data. They're going to look at your data, your the way you drive. It's going to make suggestions to you over and over, and it's going to give you the options to pay for this, pay for that. You're going to pay for a subscription to this thing that's going to think for you. And I mean, I don't think the dealership is going to be the major. It's not the bad guy. They're just a part of the system. But they're going to do all the stuff and make things more efficient for you to get to things closer, better routes. And this way they can start cramming us into these 15-minute cities, right?
Well,
and everything goes from there.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is, what wouldn't be so bad as well with the little black box if the little black box works in the condition of what you call it, like me, keep our check the engine itself. What you call it, like diagnostics. It does a diagnostic all on its own. The little black box, to where it keeps an eye, and when you do go into the garage, okay, the little black box knows the things of what's showing up, coming close to failing or not failing, and what actually shape and what condition it is.
Well, you see, even there though, that's a rocky road because now they're coming out with this setup to where every time a car comes to a street light and it's red, it will shut the car off, and then when the car or when the light turns green, it will restart it. I think that's kind of overreaching. Like
Yeah,
that's people shouldn't have or companies or even manufacturers should not have the right to shut your car off because the stoplight is red. You know what I mean? I think that's really insane. So, I mean, even there, I think they're really overextending themselves in that aspect too.
Well, I don't think it'll be used like that because extenuating circumstances. You know, somebody may be a semi truck may be coming behind you, barreling in at 60 miles an hour. You're going to need to press the gas to get the hell out of the way. So unless all the cars are automated, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. However, they will use that kind of technology if, let's say, you have a warrant for your arrest. Cops will come and find you. If you're in a police chase, they'll just shut your car down. That sort of thing, that sort of fruition is the way I think it would be used. Somebody stealing your car, finds a way to get around the metrics, hacking your system, whatever. They may have a bypass to shut down your car. These are the things that they will sell us on so that we take this technology. Now, it's going to be used in some very other nefarious ways, like assassinations, for example. Maybe they'll say he doesn't like you. He's going to tell your car to go drive off a cliff.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. And they were showing on the news a few months ago where these people are going around. One guy holds his hand up with an antenna up high up in the air above his head, above the car, and what it does picks up the signal of the car for to be started, and there's a third person there get into the car and drive off with it, and the other two gets back in the original car and leaves. Now, for that situation there, what condition, what part of security does that fall under for the wireless systems in the car?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, that
Well,
Can you rephrase
like
it?
the signal from where it keeps the car from getting stolen, where they picked it up, they did, and with that little black box, they have a way of popping the car open and to get it going, start it without it turning off.
well, that's what I was explaining to you about just a little while ago when it comes to how you can disconnect these devices and stuff. I mean, if you're a thief, yeah, you can do the same thing as what you would want to do if you didn't want to have these devices on your vehicle. It's just a matter of what you're. I mean, like if you're an owner who doesn't want to have these things installed or you want to have them connected, you do the same thing that a thief would do if they're wanting to steal your car. You see what I mean? It's
But they're gonna incentivize you to get this technology, and they're gonna punish you if you don't.
Right.
I see. I see in the future of this sort of thing. They're gonna be rebuilding, making new highways and things like that. Yeah, sure, you'll be going 110 miles an hour if the computer's driving for you. Oh, you don't want that? Well, then you can stick to this dirt road over here and drive your archaic vehicle. Your vehicle won't be allowed on the same road.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
What about the new car, pan car they're talking about? How would that work with this new technology that they're coming, where the car supposedly drives down the road and wings comes out and flies into the air? You stop to think about that. That's pretty. To me, that's pretty weird for a car to do that. But then with the technology, how or what would have to do completely different on that?
You talking George Jetson?
Well, no, they got cars where you can fly. The cars can fly.
No,
Uh-huh.
those
They're high tech.
I've seen like there's videos on the internet. Now those you got to be careful because I've
Yeah.
been seeing those come out since well into like 2015 all the way up to now. They got like drones that are supposed to look like cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And things of that nature. But I mean, a lot of that, I've seen them on the internet as videos, but I've yet to see one in real life. So,
But when they do come out, how are they going? How that's going to work? When you talk about a vehicle,
well, that's
airplane, I mean, car, it's got that
If
ability.
if they give us flight like flying taxis and stuff like that, you're talking heavy regulations. I mean, Trump fired all the freaking, I'm not making this political, but the traffic controllers. We have more planes going down now. The air traffic controllers can't handle the caseload because there's not as many of them as we're used to. That is just proving to be an example of how important it's going to be to actually have control over secondary control over systems and anything that flies, because you have your liability. When you're just on the ground, that's one thing. That's a liability that is going to multiply because you're just worried about pedestrians and cars on the road. When you have the flying, you got buildings with citizens in them. You have property, land, reserves, things that cannot be destroyed, that shouldn't be destroyed, especially things that are part of infrastructure, power poles, cell towers, things like that. You will not be able, I see this coming, you will not be able to actually have full control over your own vehicles. Everything you do will be computer guided. You may have some, control, but your control will be guided. You won't be able to fully operate your vehicle at that point.
I was wondering, how would they, if when that day comes, that happens, how will they arrange this for what you call it when you go from like U.S. to Canada or U.S. to Mexico? What is, how would you would think that that would work in the process of this? Okay, like don't you have to have? Hmm?
I'm pretty sure they will have, like if you're trying to run from the cops and trying to cross the border into Mexico or something, they're going to have things set up where they hit you with an EMP device or whatever. Depends on, if you packed your own vehicle and you're trying to take off somewhere you're not supposed to be in a restricted zone, I'm pretty sure they'll have the EMP pulse devices to make sure that you don't fly to the White House.
Yeah, but
make
what
sure
I'm,
you don't fly. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Go ahead.
What I was more or less referring to is where when you go from one country to the other, and for all the computer stuff to be worked and then all that, ain't there like a attachment, that black box where like how they know that what's working and what's not if the car shuts down for some reason, they know why. But if you go into another country, wouldn't that
Uh,
happen because it's no longer what you call it working with another computer or however they do it?
well, no. So this will be controlled by corporations. This is not going to be a government controlled thing. If you're talking international travel, corporations don't recognize borders. You know what I mean? If you have an entire infrastructure set up.
Okay, so they would have to go through state to state, I mean country to country to get that all straightened up to do that.
I'm, I'm pretty sure you have to have an electronic passport and all that stuff. You know, sensors will probably be set up to receive your information, to read your, look through your car, make sure you don't have any weapons or drugs.
So,
You be X-rayed in a sense, and going from border to border. It's going to be invasive. Your privacy. You're not going to have privacy if you're going to be anything like this.
so I
How
wanted to check
perverted
up
our
on
government is.
I wanted to check up on the whole auto start and stop systems that I was talking to you about. Now, I actually pulled up the information, and believe it or not, it
Huh?
is actually the technology is available, and the scary part of it is it is in the majority of the automotive dealerships. Most of them on the newer ones have it available to it. Now the thing that it told me is that what they're doing for this is so that they can reduce freaking emissions and stuff, and the reduction for it is only like 70% to 26% compared to like constant running cars. And how they do it is like whenever you actually hit your brake, it shuts the engine down, and the moment you let off the brake, it automatically starts it up. And they said that these cars have like heavy duty equipment because of the on and off. It causes a lot of wear and tear on the vehicle.
Well, yeah, that was actually proposed in order to improve gas mileage.
Right. Now, what they
Gas
have here
economy.
on the list of vehicles, they have the Ford and Lincoln, which with the standard on models like the F-150 Ford truck, the Ford Explorer, the Escape. Then you have the Bronco and the Ranger. Those all have them in it. Then with General Motors, which is Chevrolet, GMC, Buick, and Cadillac, it equips. It's equipped on roughly about 70% or more of their lineups, which include the Chevrolet Silverado 1500, the Malibu, the Equinox, the GMC Sierra, and then the Yukon and Cadillac XT5. Then you have
Cadillac pioneered this stuff with that OnStar.
Yeah. Then they have it on Stellantis, Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, Subaru has it on theirs. Like the Outback and the Forester, and then you have Toyota and Lexus, which has it built into theirs as well. I mean, this stuff just keeps going on. It's got the Hyundai, and the Kia even has it. It's crazy. And BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Volvo. Wow. Yeah. I didn't scroll.
Yeah, at that point, I'm so glad. For. I don't use Uber, but I think at some point I will Uber Eats or something like that. Let other people accumulate their data on their machines, whatever. Come deliver me my food, and if I need you, I'll call you. I don't want to be in your system.
Yeah, it's just so messed
That's what I
up.
liked about living in Europe. The public transportation is awesome. I even had a driver. So there was no need for me to have a car. It was cheaper for me to have a personal driver than to buy a car, pay insurance, pay registration, pay for gas, pay for maintenance. I just have a driver. So I think a lot of people might actually go that route. It's just, if I know there's people that have to go to work every day. Not everybody can just sit their butt at home and freelance, but for those of us that can, I think we're going to be able to work outside the grid a lot easier than other people. Those people who are retired or self-employed, these kind of people. And I hope that they do.
Okay, how does
Sorry, that
this
was a
work?
little side tangent.
How does this work with electrical vehicles? Consider however much of all this process is with all the new technology that they're putting into the vehicles. How much wattages does it take to run all this for electrical vehicle? Would you say? Because however the amount of power the battery holds.
Well, see, that's the gimmick, okay?
The battery, the alternator.
Well, see, that's the
Like
gimmick.
electrical
They're throwing the whole, this is a hybrid, this is an electrical car. We need to set up all these new changes so that it can be more futuristic. They're pushing it, like V says, it's just a big sales ad. You know what I mean? It's like, we need this because we are the future. When in reality, they just want to track you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm done. That was my rant.
I don't know if you guys have seen these vehicles. I like to keep up on police tech, and so they've had this technology for quite some time. It's never been used for. It hasn't been used yet on the public, but this police car that they had made, it was a concept car. They drove this car and they demonstrated in front of a speeding car, and out of the trunk, there's a device that does a localized EMP pulse, and it stops the vehicle that's behind them. It shuts down the car completely. Now, this, I believe they haven't used this on the public yet, because I think if we, as a people, seen that they have these capabilities, we would not be buying electric cars. We'd be sticking to as many old cars as we can keep around.
Well, did you hear what
Because there's a certain amount of public. You know how people, with Windows, we know how bad Windows is. We got the Linux users.
Yeah.
The Linux users of our society is going to keep the older vehicles that can't be shut down by EMP. So until there's a complete conversion where they get people to get these electric cars, like it becomes standard, and having a real car, gasoline car, is so far in between and rare. Once we have all that, they're going to pull that tech into play. It's scary. The stuff they want to do. The more technology that comes out, the less control that we're going to have over our own lives and our own actions.
Yeah,
So,
and my thing of it is too. Okay, where they're talking about taking old cars even today and putting it through the process. Okay, when you gotta get what is that place where you gotta take your car to have it looked at to where if it's fit to drive on the road and all that?
yeah, you need inspections. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Are these inspectors going to be qualified to make that perception on the vehicle, what's in the vehicle, condition of the technology? Okay, because they're saying
they'll
that
probably hook it up to a
Yeah,
diagnostics machine, and it'll take all the information.
yeah, but who's going to install it? I mean, where are they going to put all this at for them places to do that for all the older vehicles? You're talking like a big old warehouse for millions of old cars.
Well, so again, once there will be the option for conversions. However, that's for people who have a little bit more money that want to keep the old style cars. Like the rich people, the Jay Lenos of the world that have car collections. In order to have those cars on the road, they might have to have a custom conversion put on them. And that would be a booming business for the upper class there.
Yeah.
However, being a middle class and below, you're not going to have that option, I don't think. What will happen is that you're just going to be forced to upgrade, because you're going to get less. You're going to be able to find less and less and less services for your older vehicle. There'll be less car garages. There'll be less mechanics that even specialize in that stuff. So you're going to be forced to make that switch, and for one reason or another.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying too. And what I'm saying too is your information, your private information. Okay, the places that you go, the people that you go and see, mileage and all that. Okay, if it leads to where, if you don't want people knowing about you got 2 or 3 girlfriends, okay, then that should be kept between you and your car. Not to where if a person ever wanted to hack your car to get that data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
that's what they want, the data.
Yeah. But that's what I'm referring to as well. All right. And I wonder how they're going to represent this into like motorcycles, small engines,
And on top of it, too, if you end up having if you end up having a gas guzzler or something that they consider a gas guzzler, you just may be taxed for. You may even be fined because you're going to have to go through inspections, and the government may regulate. You have to have a certain miles per hour to, gas gallons per hour. Or I'm sorry, gallons per mile. That's what I'm trying to say. And if it doesn't meet that standard, you just may be pulled over and fined by a police officer.
Okay, but don't that go for the electric vehicles too?
So if something comes in disrepair with your electric vehicle, yeah. But again, you're going to have all these apps that tell you this, tell you that you're subscribed to, paying money for, yada yada yada. And of course, things are going to be made cheaper because the thing about electronics, with the old cars that are steel, made of metal and things like that, there's less wear and tear versus these little fiberglass, cars that are eventually just going to be made out of, plasteel or some kind of hardened plastic. It's going to be more wear and tear, and it's not going to last as long. You're going to be replacing parts, or if something is so expensive that, for example, a car battery costs almost as much as the car. So if your car battery goes out, you're buying a new car.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And it's like what
they're going to get you no matter what you do.
Yeah. Why I was bringing this up about the thing about maintaining, they do an engine search and all that. The little black box, knowing what's going on within the engine. Because here in West Frankfurt, there was 3 to 4 cars, computerized cars, that blew up. Okay. And found out, one guy I know of, this happened to him about 2-3 years ago. Up inside the engine, the fire had a black flow, back where the stuff went a little too much, and it caused a fire, blew up the whole engine and all that, sort of a big old fire from within the engine itself. And that's what I'm referring to. Like if there needs to be some kind of like program thing, not where it's charging you for it, but it runs a thing, the diagnostic through the engine, the wiring and all that, to make sure that, like with lightning
those things can also lie to you as well. Okay,
well,
we talked about this before, like the printers today with the ink cartridges, that your printer will tell you that you're out of ink, even though the cartridges are half full. But because the ink cartridge is telling the printer a different story, it's not going to work. So, and a subscription as well. Some of these printers don't work without a subscription with the ink. The same thing will be with these electric cars. If you were to drive, let's say this thing tells you there's a part that's degrading, that's going out. You need to go get it replaced. But if you're knowledgeable and you look at that part, you say, "Oh no, this part's just fine. This part's fine. No, I'm gonna keep driving." No, the car's gonna tell you, "No, you're not gonna keep driving. You're gonna go get it replaced now." So it's rife. The situation is rife for corruption and basically burglarizing the public.
Yeah.
Shakedowns.
Oh, and one other thing too. Okay. Now this is what I'm curious about. Let's say someone did, okay, with you still in the car, okay, but someone steals your car with you in it, okay. Now, without you swinging your hands and all that, if there any way this vehicle can register, there's 2 people and the person that's driving, their blood pressure is up and all that, and it does it, like, and you drive by the cop. Now, you would think that blood pressure going of this driver and all that, and you have a way of seeing this person too, because with all that stuff that they got in, you can look and see the eyes of a person, and you can tell he's we call it, being harassed or being made to be done, doing something, you should be, and a cop, what if, okay, what if the cop, you would think that since that car's, does the cop have a thing where he can have that car turned off?
Well, I mean, I don't think that that's actually going to be the purpose for that kind of technology. You know what I
Well, I'm
mean?
saying
But I
about,
mean, it's
But
wishful
if
thinking.
well,
well, I'm
if you
saying
want to
like
get
if,
dystopian, like really dystopian about it, your car can probably interrogate you. You know, like a lie detector test, and checking. You know, did this person commit a crime just now? Reading all your vital signs. The dash may come up with questions. Series may come up, start asking questions. If you're not answering correctly, it just may call the cops on you and drive you up to the police station.
yeah,
You want to get
and with,
dystopian about it.
yeah. Well, with all the new 100 new technologies that Ford and all, okay, as implemented into the vehicle, is that black box. How would you say for all that for everything that's working in the car? How does that black box
Well,
going to keep up with all that?
let me clear something up because you keep saying black box. Okay, it's not a black box. There's multiple devices, and like what I just explained to you, okay, with the capabilities they're having, just with the brakes and being able to stop the car. That right there tells me that future cars, okay, you're not going to be able to disconnect from the matrix. You're going to be a part of that infrastructure no matter what. Because if you try to disconnect your car from it, it's just not going to be. You're not going to be able to use it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, correct, because you're going to have sensor on top of sensor. In order for this sensor to work, you need these 3 sensors over here. In order for those 3 sensors to work, you're going to need 6 sensors over here. If you remove one of those things out of the entire thing, the entire car may just not work. You're absolutely right.
And and I wonder, and you brought up a thing too about insurance. In what way? Because where when all this got to be working and all that, how is it the insurance? How's the insurance going to, what you call it? Well, I know how they're going to benefit from it, but when it goes the other direction as
Well,
well.
it's not going to go the other direction. This is actually this is the insurance company's wet dream. Okay, now
Absolutely.
it's just like we had these conversations about the new technology with everybody just in the last show we did. Okay, and you got 2 people who are freaking into science really strong. Mike, who's into freaking physics, and then you have Mark, who's into computer technology. Okay, and we were talking about the new technologies that are coming out, and these 2 people are in complete and absolute denial about what is actually available. They do not want to accept the fact that this technology is real, and it's actually overwhelming to them. You know, and that's what it's really about.
Mm-hmm.
People right now are just in shock and awe. They don't believe that what's being said and what they're seeing is actually true. And these are people who've
Mm-hmm.
gone to school, they know the freaking science, and they still can't believe it. You know, when
Isn't that amazing?
it's completely amazing. It's like I remember old video clips where what's his name, the old guy with the gray hair, he was always talking about 2050 and about how they were going to have suits that you wear as clothes, and whenever you get hurt, the suit will actually prevent the blood from freaking flowing out of you and contact the police whenever you're in distress so that they can have an ambulance come out and pick you up, you know. Yukaki. I don't know if I said that right, but you know that's the kind of stuff that's happening right now. That's what's taking place. You know.
Well, science fiction is usually like, I mean, science fact is usually stranger than science fiction. You know,
They don't.
but I like the concept. Like in this Fallout game, I don't know if you guys played the game, but scientists and the radiation, they have these radiation suits, and if anybody were to die or be injured, the suits themselves would automate and return them back to home base. Now, that's if you're alive or even dead. So, yeah.
But they actually got suits today. Actually, they got a fabric that's made out of metal where when you shoot through it, it reseals itself up. It does. Okay. You can use it for, it shows, yeah, it shows, it's molecular where it reseals itself, and it does the thing of where like when you get hurt, it sends a thing off to the people that can read the information, the data from what your suit transmitting from, and as well, you can use, and they're talking like for like warp abilities and all that.
Hold up, I kind of got distracted there. I'm sorry, but let me also fill that in about the insurance thing because that's what we were actually talking about. Now with this technology too, this is also going to be applied to like your toothbrush. They're going to have sensors inside of your toilets and inside of your sink. They're going to have it inside of your shower, and for the toilet, whenever you pee into the toilet, it's going to send off the information of what's in your urine to your freaking medical insurance. It's going to tell your dentist what condition your teeth are in. Whenever you have the sensors in the shower, what that's going to do is it's going to keep track of how much water you're using. You see, stuff like that.
And if you don't maintain these systems yourself, you're liable to have your insurance go up, or even be fined, or even go to jail, depending on how dystopian it gets.
Well, then that's when you call. But what I was referring to about the insurance as well is like when you have a car wreck, okay, and it shows the whole process of who hit who, at what speed and what angle and all that, and the insurance don't want to pay for it because they're wanting to cover it up or try to mess with the data. Okay.
Or they'll come up with technicalities that it'll further complicate everything, which gives them more reign. It'll give them carte blanche to come up with things to invalidate giving you money.
Or try to get out of giving you money.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it's like with people.
Well, look at it like this too. Okay. Now look at you're driving around in a car that has a camera pointed at your face, and you're driving down the road, and you look away just for 1 second, and bam, you hit somebody. Now, the moment that you looked away is the moment that camera is going to tell your insurance provider, no, we don't have to pay them because he looked away just at that moment when he ran into that car. So that they don't have to pay it.
Or even that, he's had 3 cups of coffee. The guy was amped up. Of course he's trying to speed. Or you got into a wreck because you're arguing with your girlfriend. The girlfriend may be given criminal charges or financial responsibility or completely cancel out your insurance. There's so many scenarios, that they can come up with. The more surveillance and the more data that they have, the more you actually become liable.
Yeah, and that's a thing too. Like we were talking about maintenance. Your insurance can cancel your insurance because of lack of maintenance on the vehicle. That's where we call it a two-way thing. Your car company could be sucking you with money outrageous for maintenance fees, and your insurance too.
You're literally going to be paying and being a slave to a nanny state. Literally.
Yeah. And it's like right now, He told us about the name of the car. It's a taxi service in Canada. It's completely automated AI, and there's some here in New York that as well too in the U.S. And it's all and that's a perfect example what I'm referring to right there.
And just to let you know,
Well,
tomorrow
the people.
we will be talking about that too. B. So if you want to come on
Okay.
to Untethered, we're gonna because that's going to be the tech episode, and we're going to be talking about that too. So
Okay. Well, I was going to say this is also going to streamline the court system. There's not going to be all this showing up in court dates, da da da. You might end up having your court date right there. If your display is still working, it may be some magistrate there ready to go to issue you your fine, and you're going to be paying them, your debit right through the system in your car. Boom. The government will swell. The nanny state will swell, and it's something that we don't need.
Yeah. And another thing wouldn't be so bad if it was just built in for people that for medical if a person had a heart attack in the car, if the car has that ability to where it can drive or sound off a thing to where for the closest police car around just to send a thing that heart attack, some kind of thing to notify the right people that alert that they need help at this place, this vehicle.
And if people start rejecting this thing, then the sort of technology and this whole scenario, if people start rejecting it, well, then there's going to be false flags. Yeah. The NSA is going to come up with a virus that affects cars in a certain way. Oh, you got to come bring in your car for a checkup. Or, oh, this terrorist group hacked 20 cars and they all drove and killed a bunch of people in a parade. It's going to get out of control. It's going to get out of our control. It's going to be in the hands of the corporation and the government, which is not where it should be.
yeah, and I don't. I mean, I could look at the positive aspects of it, but it's going down a slippery slope where, I mean, like I said, a car is your private property right now. That's what it is, and it's supposed to be recognized that way.
Your private space.
Too. Yeah. People like to debate that all the time, but the truth is if I have private property and I want to drive an unlicensed vehicle on my private property, I can. Nobody can stop me from doing it because that is my property and the vehicle is my private property as well. Now that's going to change if you start incorporating all of this crap into it. It's bad enough they've already regulated driving so bad that it people don't even realize.
The groundwork has already been laid for all of this. Mm-hmm. Technically, you don't own your car. Anyways, you can go to a dealership, pay cash, get the title to a car, and drive off the lot. But the thing is, you have to go get your car registered. Now, what is registration? The key. So, in the etymology, reg means king. Okay, like if you kill a king, it's called regicide. Reg. If you register something, you are giving ownership over whatever it is that you're registering over to whoever it is that you're registering it to. It's technically theirs. So they can place policies onto you anytime they want, so long as it's registered to the state or the government. Okay? So you are ready. You can speed. Oh, you have 2 speeding tickets. You haven't paid them. Oh, okay. Let's call a tow truck.